Hello my dear friends, welcome back to my new video again. So this video is gonna be a different story this time. So in this video we are going to build a real-time project or the real-time case studies, and also we are going to deploy our logics to blockchain network. And there is a one more thing. So we are not limited in this video with the backend to developing code and deploying, right? So we did earlier too, but in this case, we are going to use a Web3 tool as well. Like we are going to see like how to use the Web3 tool and how to download or how to install in our machine in order to interact our backend from the front end, right? So let's jump into the video directly, and slowly and gradually we are going to move ahead and create our logic using Remix IDE on Solidity language. So here we are going to create our new project, which is property. In this particular video, we are going to create a property application. Let me just give you a quick glance about what we are going to do that, so you have a prior knowledge, and while I'm just explaining you, so you will get a better understanding on it. So we are going to create a property application where the person can add their property detail, and also it will query about the property detail. So the meaning is the person who is having the property, so he will go ahead and enroll their property detail into the blockchain. On the same time, he will go ahead and read that detail too, or else elsewhere, or any other person wants to read that, they can read from the blockchain, right? And also there is a one more feature I added into that. Like if a person wanted to transfer or wanted to sell out their property to person B, so this case, in this contract I also explain like how the function is going to be work in order to transfer our entire ownership to the B person. All right, so I already have the code available with me, which I earlier written that, and let me just go ahead and the paste over here. So, and I will explain you like what it is and how it is working and what is the meaning line by line. So let me just increase the size a bit so you will get a clear picture on it. So hope you understand about the what is Remix ID and what is the fundamental to use that, and about the tools and everything, because we earlier talked about the entire video about the Remix IDE itself. So if you're not watched yet, then you can go ahead and have a look. There is a no compulsion, right? So okay, let me just not wasting my time to just straightforward go ahead and explain you about what the logic says. So as per the rule of the Solidity, we have to define our SPDX license first. Here I defined that, no problem. And after we are going to define our Solidity version. I did that, all right. So after that we are going to define our contract. I did already. So the contract, whenever we are going to define the contract, so we have to just put one thing, the name of the contract. All right, this is important. So whenever you are going to create a contract, you have to just put the contract name, which is right after the contract, right? So in this case, I put it the contract name as a property transfer app, because we are going to have a look in detail about what is property transfer app looks like. But this is not like a full length of or the complex code, but it is a very easy code where you can just have a gist about like what we are trying to explain you in this case, how your backend is interacting with the front end or front end interacting with the backend using the Ganache tool. Oh, it's something confusing. Okay, no problem. Let's jump into the video and have a look into it in a greater detail. All right. So so here I define the address. So this is something new for you, right? So you don't need to worry about that. So the address is basically where we are just, communicating or deploying or talking to the another contract. So the address is very important. So the address is our identity, just like our email address too. All right. So if you want to send the message or email to your friends, so you must to have their email address. Otherwise, how do you send that? It's tricky, right? So we are going to define the address. Our address name is contact owner, obviously. You might think like, what sort of address I'm talking about? So I'm just talking about the our smart contract address. Let me just give you a clear picture. So whenever, if you remember, whenever we deployed, there is a one address got created, right? So this address I'm talking about. So we will see once we just go ahead and deploy our smart contract. All right, so let's move further. So what is constructor over here? So the constructor says like if you are just using me, right? So the I am the first person, or I am the very first person is going to be deployed. The first line of code is going to deploy whatever represent in the constructor. So this is the meaning of the constructor, right? So the very first thing it is going to be whenever we are hitting the deploy button, so the constructor go ahead and execute the first line. What is the first line then? Oh, yeah, let me explain you. So the first line is contract owner. What is contract owner? So here we define the contract owner in address, right? So the contract owner, and it is his address. And what address is going to take and how we didn't provide it, we just wrote it over there. And whenever we are just defining the address, it doesn't mean it's go and utilize the deployment, whatever the address it is. So there is a one rule. So we have to just use the global variable message dot sender. So the message dot sender will go ahead and whatever the smart contract address will pop up after the deployment, so that message dot sender is go ahead and assign those address to the contact owner. Very simple. So the logic is whenever you go ahead and deploy that, the message dot sender will take those address, smart contract address, and it is going to utilize, or it is going to make as a contact owner address. Hope this is clear. If it is not, then let me know. I will try to explain you in a better way, whatever I can. All right, and after that we are going ahead to define our modifier. So what is modifier? Let me just park modifier aside for the time being. I will explain you in a moment when I just done with this. Here is a struct. Like what is struct? Struct is containing the property of, or not property, the detail of the property. There is a multiple detail you can just store together. You can use array as well, but the array is but depending on the particular thing, right? So better you can just go ahead and use struct. It's very simple. And struct name and the parameters whatever you wanted to pass. So in this case we are passing id, name, owner, value, and area. So these parameters appropriately going to be act as per the defined variable types. All right, so this is integer or uint, this is a string data type and something like that. So you might aware about that. This is for the one property only. What if we have 20 property, or maybe 100 property, maybe 555 property? What is the scenario then? The smart contract is not going to be act? Oh, it doesn't sounds like that. So we have our mapping keywords over here. We have a mapping keywords over here, which says like whatever the property you have defined as a one detail. Like if it is my property, so this is my detail, right? If it is your, there should be your detail, right? So the mapping says whatever the person is putting their detail, the property name as an index and in storing inside, and it is referring to the property. So meaning is very clear. So whatever the property detail is that whenever you put it your details, so it will go ahead and utilize the index form and a tag like a 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever the property name is coming after by, and it is going to store appropriately. And we are also going to make this contract public so anybody can see that, right? And we are also defining the mapping name as a property in order to access all the properties at one go. All right. So here is our first function is going to be add how we are going to add the property inside. So the function add property, you can just choose any name you wish, and we are defining our property ID, name, owner, value, and area. And in the last video, I think we didn't cover like why we are putting the underscore over here. So basically we are putting the underscore to differentiate between these parameters and this. The both are same, but if you're not putting the underscore, it says like it will give you an error. So it is saying like you already used that name, so why you wanted to use that parameters again? Are you trying to duplicate anything? No, we are not. Let me just put the underscore so it will differentiate. So let's see if you are not putting the underscore and you are taking another thing like XYZ. So whenever you are just going to deploy that in the front end, you will never know like what sort of parameters we are going to pass inside, like what sort of column is containing. This is for ownership, this is for value, or this is for name. What is this for? Within XYZ stand for what? We don't know, right? So that's why specifically we are going to put underscore name so the end user or whoever is interacting from the front end, they knows like we have to explicitly put the name here, not our phone number, not our age, not our ID, whatever. So we have particularly fill the name inside the box. So this is the simple meaning of differentiating between the same name, right? To just putting the underscore. So we can just use those parameters by using the same name with underscore. So this is it's slowly or gradually becoming a standard in a Solidity language. And after that, we are going to use our public. So how we are going to store the name. So you can just see a public and only owner. What is this only owner? You might think about like earlier video we gone through and you put it public, not any particular public name, right? But this is not a public name, I would say. So the public only owner stands for, let me just go back to what we left the modifier, right? So the see the only owner present here. So what is working over here? So basically the modifier says if you wanted to put any access, if you wanted to put any authority on top of any particular entry point, you can use modifier. Hope this is clear. So the modifier says like whatever you wanted to use inside the smart contract, inside the logic, if you want to strict any parameters for any particular entity or any particular body, then you can use modifier and it will act like a permission driven statement, right? So modifier name and require. What is require? So require is basically it is correlating to the contract owner, right? So what is contract owner? So the contract owner is the person who is putting the detail, right? And message dot sender is acting like whatever whenever we are going to deploy our smart contract, the smart contract address is going to be assigned to contract owner by using the message dot sender. All right. So what message dot sender is doing here? So the message dot sender is saying like in this case, whenever you are going to use that, or whenever you are going to restrict the action for particular address you have, it is going to be equal to contract owner. Meaning if you are using the another address and you are going to use the modifier, so it is not going to act like this way. Let me just give you the difference between. So if you have a person A email address and you wanted to send the message to A and B, so it is not going to be happen, right? So if you have person A address, then you are going to send only the person A email inbox, right? Not the person B, because person B is different. So this is the same way. So this is person A and you are going to send the message to the particular A address. So here is the thing. We are going to use only owner to restrict the action or strict the entry point, like who is going to add the property detail, like only owner. So whoever is the owner is going to add the property detail only. So the only owner person can go ahead and address or register themselves. All right, so in this case, if you are going to register your property, then this logic is work for you. Okay, so we have done with our write function, right? These all parameters is going to be add to write in the blockchain your detail, and this function I have created to read function or query function. So in this case, anybody can go ahead and have a look on your property, or just like a Quicker or Ola, not Ola, OLX. So the end person is put it there, something like tablet to sell, right? So who is going to see that? Everybody, right? So the detail, like what is the price, what is the area, what is the value detail, or can access the particular detail. So we have to just write in the function for that. So query property by ID. So this function is depending on the query property by ID. You can choose any other name you wish. And how we are going to query our property, or how we are going to pass it a query from the blockchain. So we are going to use a property ID. All right, so the public view returns, this is the parameters which we talked about earlier. The public is anybody can access. View is a differentiate between write and read function. So if it is view, it means read. If it is not, it means write. And going to return in which parameters? So it is going to return us a name, owner, area, and value, which is the data type of string and uint. It will go ahead and return in the form of the name, owner, area, and value. So whenever you are just putting the query for any property, so it will go ahead and give you the property name, property owner, property area, and the value itself. So these all parameters is to read the property, right? So whenever you pass the property ID, it will give you name, owner, area, and value. That's it. And after that, I told you, like I have used for a property transfership or ownership transfer function. So we have to just create the function, and the function name you can choose whatever you wish. And I'm just passing the property ID and the new owner. Why new owner? Because that property is belonging to the current person, right? And now we are going to pass this ID explicitly to the new owner. All right, and we are going to make it public. We can just also restrict that by putting to owner only, right? It's up to you. So whatever you wanted to make it public, or you wanted to restrict the action for you only or particular entity, it's up to you. So let me just read it off. And after that, we are going to define the property ID with the current owner. The current owner is here. Whoever is adding the property, the current owner is here, and we are going to change the current ownership to the new owner, right? So whatever the parameters or whatever the present ID for the the current owner, it is going to be changed to new owner once we put it the entry on it. All right, so this is all about the property application, how we are going to add the property, how we are going to query the property, and how we are going to transfer the property ownership to another person. So this is the small code of the Solidity, and we are going to deploy code or this logic Let me just go ahead and show you how we are going to deploy this. So right now we are not going to use any virtual deployment. We are going to use Ganesh this time to deploy our smart contract in into the Ethereum blockchain. All right. So in order to use the Ganesh provider, we have to just up and running the Ganesh tool or Ganesh in our machine. So let me just go to the desktop and launch my Ganesh. Okay, so here is my Ganesh, which is already been installed. So if you didn't install, then it is very easy setup. You can just go ahead and download and install it. So there is a Ganesh which is having the same parameters which Remix IDE virtual machine is containing, like Shanghai, Merge, Berlin. You can see that there is a fake account and a fake ETH. So here is the same fake account address and fake Ether and something like that. There is a 10 accounts. Yeah, there is a 10 account index 9 and it's starting from index 0. And the key, you can just see the key over here as well. So this is your account address and this is your private key. See, so, so it is very clear here, like what is your address, the ether, and the server, which server you are deploying, what is the network ID E5777, and what is the gas limit, what is the gas price, and there you can see there is a no block created this time. So we can go ahead and utilize the Ganesh provider or the Ganesh this time in order to deploy our smart contract. So once you just go ahead and choose the Ganesh provider, it will give you these parameters and we have to put 7545 in this case. Why 7545? Because we earlier seen that the Ganesh is having the server address which is 7545.127.0.0.1 hyphen 7545. So we are going to use the same thing, right? Which we already did. Okay, let's go back to the Remix IDE and we have successfully chosen the Ganesh provider and it is successfully connected with the Ganesh provider. How do we know that? How do we know it is connected with the Ganesh? So here is the custom, right? Here is the network ID. So 5777. And if you go ahead and open the Ganesh, so this is network ID 5777. So it is showing or it is giving us a surety like this Remix IDE platform is now ready to deploy by using Ganesh network, right? So without further delay, let me just go ahead and hit the deploy button. Oh, we got a green tick. Means we deployed our smart contract successfully by using Ganesh. All right, and here is what? Here is our smart contract address. All right, meaning, let me just give you. So the message.sender is taken that address and assigned to the contract owner already. How do we know that? We will go further in the video and you will automatically get to know about that. All right. And let me just sorry, let me just give you the detail about that because see the gas fee is already been detected from here and this is our account address. All right, and you can just verify from the Ganesh as well. See the gas fees got deducted from here as well, and see the block got generated. The very first block got generated. You can verify by see by clicking there and you can see the block first gas used this much, gas limits this much, and this is the timestamp or the virtual machine. This is the block hash you can see, and this is the bytecode in a form of hexadecimal. So this is our smart contract which is being converted into the bytecode, right? So nobody can go ahead and hack our system in order to get our contract or in order to get our detail. So there is a, you know, never ever going to create a single point of possibility to hack your system and I mean take off your detail, right? So let's go back to the Remix IDE. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have done our backend part till now. So we have developed our smart contract. We have deployed our smart contract by using Ganesh provider, and we have successfully connected with the Ganesh provider in this case, and successfully deployed our smart contract. And what we got in return? So we got our smart contract address, which is present over here, and we also got our ABI, which is present over here, right? So if you wanted to click it, it is copy already. If you want to see how your ABI and how's your smart contracts address looks like, so you can just simply copy it and you can just paste it any your new, I mean, notepad or something like that. So we have copy and I have pasted. This is our smart contract address. And let me just go back to the Remix IDE, and let me also show you how your ABI looks like. So you can just simply copy and you can just come here and put the enter and paste it. See, this is all your ABI, which is generated after your deployment. All right. Okay, so let's jump into the Remix IDE again. And this is all about the backend. We have done created our smart contract, we deployed, we got our ABI, we got our smart contract address, and we are done with the backend. And now the time is how we are going to interact our smart contract by using Web3 tool. This is challenging, or this is something new which most probably you all are waiting for. So without further delay, let me just go ahead and give you the quick glance about how we are going to install our Web3. We will also go ahead and install our Web3 tool, and once installation got done, we will go ahead and interact with our backend using the Web3. Okay, so let me just go to the terminal very quick. And in the terminal, you have to just make the directory of Web3 first. So in this case, mkdir web3.js. It is successfully. So let me just go ahead into the Web3. So cd web3.js, and we are in the Web3 folder right now. And in that, so whenever we are created our Web3 folder, it doesn't mean that the all Web3 properties or default parameters which is defined by the Web3 concept, it is installed in this case. No. So this is just a folder. So let me just give you a glance about it, how it is looked like. So see, so the folder is got created and there is nothing inside. There is no dependencies containing in the block in the Web3. All right, so let me just go ahead and create or download all the dependencies which is required in order to interact with the backend part. So in this case, we are going to put one command, which is our node package manager in it. Oh, I'm sorry. Node package manager init. Init means initiation, right? So we are going to initiate our node package manager in this case. So let me just hit the enter, and once you hit the enter, you will see instantly this sort of output. So you don't need to put anything, you just keep entering until you see your primary command, right? So once you're done with this, so what you have to do, you have to just create the directory. Let me just give you. So you have to just make a directory Web3, and you have to just go to enter the directory of the particular thing, and you have to just initialize the npm over there, and you are you are going to hit the enter button until you see the main command, right? Once the main command is appear, so we are going to install our Web3. So this is the very crucial part. So npm install Web3. So this is the command which you all have to pass. npm install Web3. Hit the enter. The moment you hit the enter, so it is start downloading the all Web3 properties and put it in the folder. So it is done already. So if you want to verify that, you can just go into your desktop and see there is a node module, there is a package.json and package.json, right? In the node module, there is a all dependencies which is already been present in order to run the Web3 version or Web3 code. See all the dependency of the Web3. All right, so we have successfully installed our Web3 in this case. And right now, go ahead in the Web3 folder and create one empty folder. All right, and make it as your project name. It's property in this case dot html, right? So you can just choose whatever name you wish, but I'm just explaining the property application this time. So that's why I'm going to create the property HTML. So hit the create and right click on it and open with mousepad or open with any notepad or something like that in your case. I have already created the front end part, which is not the blockchain developer scope anyhow, but I have created to just explain you like how your backend interacting with the front end or front end interacting with the backend, right? Let me just go ahead and paste it. So this is all our front end part. So if you know the front end, you might aware about this, all the syntax, all the dependencies, all the things present and indicating one parameters which is denoting to the front end how it looks like. All right, so let me just go ahead and save this first and just go ahead, open the Web3 and hit the property. See, so this all codes is meaning something which is present over here. So this is our front end, right? So we have created property ID, property name, property owner, value, and the area and add new property, right? This is our first function. The second function is query. So the query, we are going to query our property ID. And the third function is says like property ID, owner, new owner and transfer ownership. So existing property ID and new owner, whatever the name you wish, and you can just hit the transfer ownership. Let me hit that. Oh, it is not working. Why? Oh, there is nothing working. You know why it is not working this time? Because we never connected with our backend yet. So this is just a front page we have created so far, nothing else. We didn't connect it with our existing or with our backend, right? So let me just go ahead and connect with the backend. So in this case, just open the property .html, and this all is the front end parameters, so you don't need to worry about that. But here let me just give you the clarity about which we must to know about that, which is the main or very important part of the Web3. Without this, you are not going to connect or interact from the front end to the back end. So this is the very initial process which I'm going to explain you. So in this case, if condition, there is if condition says Web3, if the Web3 is defined, right? If the Web3 is defined, go ahead and use the local host, right? Go ahead and use the local host. If it is undefined, if Web3 is undefined, go and create a current provider. Go and interact with the current provider. Okay, so in this case, our case, we have already have the Ganache provider which is acting as a local host this time. This line says like how many accounts you wanted to go ahead and deploy or interact with from front end to the back end. And in this case, these all the parameters you can see that. So this is the ABI. This is all ABIs. And in the last, we have our smart contract address. Let me just show you one more time. So these all are our ABIs, and in the last you can find that this is our smart contract address. So this is what I have used in my previous video, and right now let me just go ahead and delete that so we can just use our first or fresh code in this case, right? Okay, let me just go ahead and copy our ABI in terms of putting here and interacting with the backend. All right. Let me just go ahead and put the all ABIs in one single line. How do we do that? Because our ABI, if you can see that, our ABI, let me just go to the folder and so which is already I have stored. Oh, it is not saved. No problem. So let me just go to my remix IDE and copy the ABI. So we can just copy the ABI and put it in any notepad for our reference. So see, the ABI is in a different form. It is not in a single line. So we can just go ahead and create that by using the Google. So in this case, we are going to use JSON to one line. And once we hit, this is the website, or you can just use any website in order to convert your JSON file into a one single line. So you have to just put your JSON, or you can just simply go ahead and copy the ABI from here and come here and simply paste over here and simply say convert. So it will convert your all ABI into one single line, and you have to just triple click on it. So it will select all, and you have to just copy this thing. And after that, you have to just go to your STM property HTML file, and you have to just paste it over there. So once you just paste it, so it will, you can see it will one single line ABI which is fallen over there. All right, so let me just take it, cursor it back over here. Okay, and this is our what? This is our smart contract address. And how we are going to get our smart contract address? You have to just go to the Remix IDE and the deployment options, and there is a smart contract address, right? Deployed smart contract address. You have to just copy this and go back to your property.html file, and you have to just replace this with your current one. So, and save it. Don't forget to save it, otherwise it will give you a bad error, and it is not good, the bad errors. And what is this? See the function add property, and you have to define the address, account address, right? What is account address? What is this account address talking about? So this is nothing but, let me just show you. So this is our Remix IDE. So it is saying like which account you have deployed your smart contract. Oh, how do you get that? How do we find that which account address I have defined or I have deployed my smart contract? It is very simple and very easy to find that. So this is our account, and this is our account address where we went ahead and deployed our smart contract. So we have to just simply copy that account and go back to the property.html and select this, paste this here as well, paste it and save it. So the moment you save it means the save got changed. right? And right now you have to just go ahead into the web3.js and open your property.html. So we have what we have done so far. So we have added, or we have um, connected our backend to the front end. Let me just verify it. How do we know that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't get any input or get any output like you got connected with the backend, or neither I got from any output from the backend like you got connected with the Web3 or front end. So let me just pass some parameters and let's see. Property name, it's villa. Oh, my spelling bad. Villa, property owner, myself, property value, anything, property area, anything, add. Oh, it's working, meaning it is successfully got connected with the backend, right? So because we got connected and there is a hash of the transaction of the or of the block is present over here, meaning it is being connected. Let me just pass the parameters of to query the property. So it should be work. Oh yeah, it is working. It's a property name is Villa, the owner is Ravi. That's great. And let me just transfer this property to another person. Let me just put the property ID, a new owner, let's say Yadav, and let me just transfer the ownership. Oh yeah, it is transferred because we got the hash, the block hash. And let me just query the property again. Oh yeah, it got changed. Property name is Villa and owner is Ravi. All right, so till now we have done exploring our entire life cycle of the blockchain. We have created our backend, we have deployed our backend by using Ganache, and also we have interacted our backend using Web3 in our virtual machine. So I hope that the topic or the explanation was clear, and if you have any problem in between and if you want me to help you, you can just write me with the timeline of the video and your particular question. So I will go ahead and provide as many possibilities or as many assistant as you wish. All right. So this is what it is we have done so far. We have connected our front end to the back end, and where we went ahead and have a look like how the back end is behaving appropriately in order to whenever we are passing the parameters from the front end. So this is the entire blockchain life cycle until here we have covered. So in this video, I'm going to take a pause, or I'm going to take a break until my next video, and hope you are enjoying so far. And if you have any question, you know what to do. You have to just drop me your email address and with the timestamp of the video and the question, I will go ahead and have a look and provide the answer in the comment section as well, or I will hit you an email. All right, so take care, bye bye, and have a lovely day. And one more thing, I want you to practice 2 or 3 times. So this is the very tiny process or very small process. So in order to connecting from your back end to the front end or front end to the back end, you have to follow the same parameters in order to connect both things together, right? So you can just practice 2 times, 3 times, or watch the video 2 times or 3 times, and by fast forwarding, so you will get the whole idea like how the back end is working, how the front end is working, the request from the back end to the front end or front end to the back end, how we are putting our logics from the front end and how it is working in the back end. Have a great day and take care, charms and cheers.